Hey, good morning, everyone, and welcome to our live Forex trading show. I'm going to get to the analysis very quickly. On the currency revolution, I was chatting with Victor after the show on Tuesday, and he says, Vance, I have some thoughts on that too. And so I said, okay, well, you can take that segment on Thursday. How you doing this morning, Victor?
Yeah, good, Vance. Thanks, mate. It was a really hot one over here today. It would have been in the 90s in your language. It was about 35 here, so just trying to stay cool. But yeah, good. Thanks for the opportunity to have a talk about that, and hopefully I'll come up with something pretty interesting.
All right, well, I'm looking forward to it. So Victor's going to take the currency revolution segment this morning. If you're coming from YouTube or Google, you're looking for 8 things. Let me just show you real quick where you can get that. Boom, boom, and boom. Right over here on the right side of my site, Forex Art of War, just put your first name and your email address in here. We don't share your email addresses with anyone, guys. But don't worry about that. I'm so tired of getting spam, but we don't do that. We don't actually tell you we're going to share with all our affiliates, whatever that means. That means basically you're a seller. I don't know if they own stock in a company, they own $5 worth of stock, so they sell it to that company. I don't know, man. But anyway, we don't do that. All right, so let me come back to my screen. So let's see what else. I just want to let you know we're going to be providing more shows and more content on the homepage. There will be probably 1 to 2 training shows each week, and we'll be talking about cutting-edge techniques that'll give you an edge. And the training calls, though, they won't happen at a set time. We'll probably be having a Twitter following list, and when I'm doing one, just get a tweet, that kind of thing. The big news this week is, besides the dead market, is that we opened up our training program to 10 new members yesterday. Now, listen very carefully. I want to encourage those of you listening to contact me if you want to move fast to consistent profit making. There are so many ways to do this wrong, and you could be thinking you're doing, you could be putting in this valiant effort and absolutely be wasting years of time. I mean, thousands of people do it all the time. So if you have any interest at all, send me an email. We can talk, and I'll explain exactly what you need to do in order to succeed, whether you sign up for the training or not. But it doesn't matter how much or little experience you have. It's a good time to start because, honestly, we're going to have to raise our prices soon because we're kind of expanding personnel. All right, so let's get started with what's happening with price. Thanks for the reminder, viewers. Somebody says, hey, you're not saying that's for educational purposes only anymore. Yeah, I should be saying that. So what you're about to hear is for educational purposes only. All right, let me get it over to the chart. Just have to drop this page out of the way. All right, so I mean, the main news is all this week it's just been, price has been grinding and indecisive. You can see it here going back to the 22nd. That was just a couple of days ago. It's just in this range, and it just was doing not much of anything. There's some events in the world. There's there's what's going on in Gaza. There's what's going on in the Ukraine. There's some of the players are upset at Putin. I mean, it's just kind of like they found some things to talk about while they're sitting on their boats and their yachts in the middle of summer. That's the bottom line. And there's at the very least there's just uncertainty about what the market's going to do. Now, last night a couple of things broke, and Victor, I didn't get a chance to see your analysis this morning, but I'll take a peek at that a little later. I'm sure it was great. I did bring up a chart here. This is the euro. It was the euro 30-minute chart. I've changed to a 5-minute chart. Just want to show you guys that price did make that push. Remember, we're looking for a seller advantage. It comes through this level right here, this yellow level, and then we're looking for a range big enough to get in and out with good risk management. And this range was about 24 pips, so that's pretty good. That's out of the range of noise. Push down, it pulls back to about 50% and makes a second push right there. So this one, I can see some of our traders taking it. Most of them will not target below that 5-minute candle body close, so this has been very tough. And then, but you know, for someone with a lot of experience, you could have seen that pressure and done that. But it would take a little more skill to do that. Nonetheless, that's the pattern that we look for right there. And then let's see what time the moving averages turn over as the trend goes the other way. Trend looks like it confirmed. Whoops, lost my crosshairs. Looks like the cross is confirmed for sure at the close of, for sure at the start of 7 o'clock. So if we drop down to the 5-minute, zoom in and take a look at the behavior, let's see if it was there at 7 o'clock. It really wasn't. So I guess it depends on your chart feed. And plus, I noticed it came within a fraction of a pip, of 38.2 there. So again, you know, when we have in certain markets, you see exactly this. You see the targets just a little off. You see the entries just a little off. Everything's just a little off. But the nice thing is it's stretching out a little bit now, which it wasn't really doing anything the past few days. But again, here's that pattern that we look for. Boom, boom. Oh, mother lightning right here. Here it is again. But again, just a little bit off. You know, right exactly at the trend turnover point and a fraction of a pip, just above 38.2. So again, this is what we see when the markets are indecisive. Any thoughts on that euro there, Victor?
Yeah, Vance, the first one that dropped down, that was what I was watching, and when Frankfurt opened, that big push came straight down, and that actually I took a sell limit on that, but it missed my entry by 1 pip, so I sort of just let that one go, and it reversed pretty quickly the other way, and I was asleep when the next one came along, so no worries for me.
Okay, so and that's the way it goes, you know. I mean,
Yeah.
Victor set up his sell entry limit in here. It missed by 1 pip. He didn't catch that trade. That's the way it goes. Good job on that, Victor.
Thanks.
Okay, so let's go over to move over to the pound. This is a pound 30-minute chart. We're going to see a little bit similar behavior. I notice I don't have a lower key level here. One establishes right in this area. It says, hey, this is the line of contention right here, and that price would have been 170.27. We would have been looking for price to go through right there. I'm sure Victor was watching that too. So as it comes through, this is a 30-minute. Trend's clearly down. It's not a really old trend. It's at that point it's like 40 pips, so it's kind of ideal, right? It's established for sure, and it's very young, about 40 pips. So this. Guys, this is what I look for right here. This is my stuff. So zooming into the 5-minute chart, we take a closer look at the behavior. I've got my fib. It's very important that you know where to put these fibs. If you don't know where to start them, and well, everyone knows where to end them. But if you don't know where to start them, you don't know how strong it is. You know, in other words, how strong the advantage is. You've got to be able to do this correctly. Otherwise, you're just not going to have that edge that we have. So it always starts where the momentum begins that breaks the former low, or in the case of an uptrend, a former high. Again, we're not trying to say that we're offering secrets here in my training program. We don't. We tell you everything. In my training program, what that's about is training. And we're probably one of the only training companies in the world. Now, some people say, gosh, how can we say that? That's ridiculous. No, think about it. Does a trainer watch you, or do you watch the trainer? Right? If you're a boxer, do you watch the trainer, or does the trainer watch you? Right? Yeah, I'm one of the only training programs in the world because I watch you trade 95% of the time. And so that's training. Training is me watching you, not you watching me. If you're listening to me like right now, this is education. This isn't training. So anyway. So as price makes a move down here, first let's take a look at the strength of that move. Obviously, the sellers get an advantage here. You know how strong was that? It's 34 pips. It's nice and strong. And we get a little something like we got with the euro. Now, I'm going to kind of line this yellow line up with the top of that fib coming down. That's 34-pip move right there. And then we're looking for 38.2 or better, and then for a second push. And that happens right there. So again, this is consistent with either indecisive markets leading up to indecisive markets. This is the type of behavior we see, or coming out of an indecisive market. Again, everything that repeats over and over again is just a tiny bit off. So keep that in mind. That's a valuable knowledge, because it'll tell you what's coming and where it's going. Learn the behavior. And so, again, if we're targeting that 5-minute candle body close, it already pulled back to 38.2 and pushed again right there. Now, could you have traded this push right here? Sure, but you know, you'd have to have experience doing that and say, hey, this is why I'm doing it. It's part of my trading plan. I'm not going to really look at the Australian dollar and the QE. They've been doing something very different, so I'm just not going to go there. But what I want to do now is go back to our next segment, which is the currency revolution, and we're going to let Victor share some of the thoughts that he's been, some of the observations that he's made about that subject over the last couple of months. Victor?
Yeah, thanks, Vance. Just on that GU trade, that's the only trade I took this week. I was trying for the EU, I missed it by a pip, and then I saw that made a move down after some high-impact data came out, and I just set the trade up and actually left, and I took a little bit of a nap and came back to my charts, and it had already taken my entry and then hit my targets. So it's a good way to end the week. So it was a good night. It was a good one. A lot of our traders took that one, so it was a happy one.
Nice job, Victor. Good job.
Okay, thanks, Vance. Talking about the currency revolution, I was having a lunch with a mate yesterday here in Tokyo, and he's in finance here, and I was explaining to him what I was doing now. I hadn't seen him for a while when we caught up, and talking about how Vance has sort of taken on this topic of the currency revolution, and yeah, he was very, very interested in it. And we were talking about Japan in specifically. I mean, what I'm going to talk about today is Bitcoin, and give a little bit of an introduction to that and why I think it's good for trading. But not most people know that Bitcoin was invented by a Japanese person, and he's now obscurely sort of faded away into the background somewhere. But he was saying like how we've become so used to using one currency in one country. So like here in Japan at the moment, I've obviously got to pay things to yen. Vance in the States has got to use the US dollar. And it wasn't really that long ago, especially here in Japan, around about the 1850s, where there was something like 1,600 currencies in use. I mean, people could pay for things with umbrellas, swords, rice, corn, all different sort of products were used as a means of exchange. And it's funny how we've become so used now to thinking just in one currency, but thanks to this ongoing currency revolution that we're just starting to see the start of now, it's all going to change. So I think we better start getting used to that very quickly. Now, Vance touched on Tuesday about we're going to talk about Bitcoin, and I think probably first need to really just introduce Bitcoin. There's a lot of people who don't really understand it, so I'm just going to give a quick explanation of what it is. And I think when you try to explain Bitcoin to someone who's never heard of Bitcoin before, it's probably like when the internet first came out, and you were going to try and you knew about the internet and you were trying to explain it to someone about what the internet is, or even what Napster was, with buying and selling, downloading music online, things like that. Not many people understood it until it really became mainstream. And look how you buy your music now. It's all changed, and it seems like second nature for us to get our music online. For me, in a nutshell, Bitcoin is a digital currency. It uses peer-to-peer technology to facilitate transactions. So instead of using a country's currency to buy a good or service, basically you're just paying for whatever you want by transferring some Bitcoin, digital currency, from your digital wallet to another person's digital wallet or a company's digital wallet. It's a funny way to use online exchanges to purchase Bitcoin. So you'll use your US dollars or your euros or yen, and you'll change that into Bitcoin itself. And then once you've got your Bitcoin, all you really need is a connection to the net, mostly usually by your smartphone, and you need an app which is a digital wallet. And so the other person has that as well, and you can transfer money between each other. It's fascinating to watch at the moment because we're right at the start of this, and interesting to see how many companies are really starting to take on Bitcoin. If you do a search around the net, you'll start to see the little Bitcoin icon pop up on a lot of your familiar sites. I know I look at Amazon, Expedia for travel, Target, it's big in Australia. I know it's an American company. I mean, if lingerie is your thing, I know Victoria's Secret, they have a Bitcoin payment system as well. So it's really, really taking over. They said there's supposed to be only around about 21 Bitcoins ever to be in circulation. That's something to do with the algorithm when it was created. Whether or not that's true or not, we'll see when that happens. But at the moment, there's around about 13 million Bitcoin in circulation. Now, as Vance has mentioned already when we first started talking about the currency revolution, it's not whether or not Bitcoin ends up as the digital currency of choice for the world, but it's the main thing for me to take in this is it's really happening right now. We're really seeing the start of this currency revolution, and we're seeing that people outside of central banks can actually create their own means of payment. And that system is looking to becoming more convenient, more efficient, and perhaps eventually even more secure than the system we're using now. And I think that's why a lot of people are starting to look at these payment systems. And of course, at the moment, Bitcoin's not the only thing that's out there. There's lots and lots of digital currencies that are really starting to come out. So you just have to keep looking around, keep watching the news, things like that. Now, as a trader, the reason why I'm very excited about Bitcoin is because of the upcoming opportunities that certainly Vance and I are seeing as we see less and less, especially with Bitcoin and these currencies, there's less and less control by central banks and more by humans, inverted commas. And thanks to Vance, I mean, I've learned a way to trade the markets based on logic and based on repetitive human behavior and seeing a very, very high probability, very consistent setup play out. And that is based on market behavior by humans. Now, if we think about what Bitcoin and these other markets are going to be being created by human interaction peer-to-peer, the exchanges and the brokers that pop us allow us to trade Bitcoin will be able to take advantage of this repetitive human behavior that it does. It just shows it can repeat and repeat and repeat. And if you understand how to trade that, I think it's going to be a very, very profitable future. Now, just quickly before I finish this little segment today, I wanted to bring up a little chart of Bitcoin for this week and just show you something quite interesting. So I'm just going to switch my screen. Where am I?
I think you changed to me, but
let's have a look. Can you see me now? Can you see this, Vance?
I do. I see it. Yeah.
Okay, this is just a Bitcoin chart offered by Bitfinex. It's the Bitcoin against the US dollar, and it's just this week. It's a 30-minute chart, which is what we trade. We see that the moving averages have turned over here, so there is now a bias towards the sellers. Price comes down to this area here. It finds some support. We see it move back up, and then the sellers push again. So we have a seller advantage as it moves past this point here. We see that it comes back up to this area here and makes a second push. There's little second pushes in here. I don't say it's as pretty as what the pound dollar or the euro dollar is, but it is early days for Bitcoin. But it just shows you this human behavior repeating it again and again. And that happened on the 21st of July. So it is happening, it is changing, and I'm really looking forward to what we're seeing out there. Can you see me again, Vance? Am I back on?
Yeah, you're back on.
I'm getting the hang of it, mate. I'm getting the hang of it. So that's all I've got for today about Bitcoin, and we'll start to talk about other currencies and what we see as traders anyway. But anything else to add there, Vance?
Well, I don't want to create the wrong idea in our viewers' minds. So Victor's talking about the very beginning of this. The reality is right now, even though we could probably be pretty comfortable with it. There are no assurances about your account. If you have $10,000 in a Bitcoin account, you can wake up tomorrow and it could be gone. Nobody's backing that. Nothing's backing that. And so how we're going to feel comfortable with that? I mean, Victor talked about how things have changed over the years. We used to, the idea of putting your credit card online, in the year 1999 was just crazy. We wouldn't do that. We do it all the time now. So those comfort factors are going to arise over time. They're not there right now. And in addition, because we're still early in the game, as Victor was talking about, there's daily hyper volatility, or at least every other day, where we're seeing erratic behavior. Erratic behavior is almost always based upon intense speculation. And so, as the currency stabilizes, then it'll calm down, and it'll be something. Probably one of the most exciting things for me, and Victor touched on this, is this repetitive human behavior that we see on the pound and euro. It's being manipulated by the central banks. So what we do is we trade the human behavior, but we account for the central bank interference. When we get the money, the currencies out there, away from their control, we're just going to see the behavior. And that's, boy, man, I'll tell you what, I'm looking forward to that day. So that's coming soon. So great segment, Victor, and thank you for that. I think it was a great introduction. I think a lot of people really appreciated that. And guys, this is just the tip of the iceberg. We're like telling you about the internet in 1992 right now, okay? And most people didn't even get on the internet for the first time until like 94. I say most people. I mean, obviously there was some crazies who were on it in the 80s. I knew one. Okay, not everybody was crazy that was on it. Anyway, Victor, let's move on to our other segment. You come up with a question from one of our viewers. Let's take that now.
Yeah, great. Thanks, Vance. So thanks for that follow-up. I mean, yeah, Bitcoin really is the Wild West at the moment, and we'll just wait and see where it goes. We'll wait and see how it all settles down. Now, I did get a question yesterday from Samsul from Indonesia, and he's heard us talk a lot about summer trading and with sort of how the market's changed a little bit. It's a very good question. When are we going to see things turn back to normal and normal trading, where we're really going to see things sort of pick up a little bit?
Well, that is a great question. Let me just answer another question that people probably have. Are things different in the summer? Obviously, it's Samsul. Samsul is noticing things are different, so he's probably been trading for a while. But if you're newer, or you're just kind of plugging in, you might be wondering, are things a little different? Things are definitely different, and one of our team members asked me this morning, when's this going to change? And wrote me an email, and I said, well, you're used to having me and Victor around. Just imagine me and Victor were out at the beach sipping margaritas while you guys are learning to trade. Okay, that's what's going on right now. The major players, they're sitting on their yachts and vacationing with their families, and they've given the troops some instructions of what to do and not to do while they're gone. But they're taking a whole month off, and so we're just gonna see. It's not just them. I mean, you got news reporters taking a month off. I mean, pretty much everybody related to the financial markets are playing with their families or sitting on the beach, and so it's kind of business has still got to go on, but they're doing the bare minimum, and so we see a little less movement. We're not getting all the quality news that we get, so that enhances uncertainty. And to answer your question, Samsul, basically about a week before Labor Day, maybe the third week in August, you're going to see these guys firing up their engines. Vroom, there will be a buzz and a talk, and where are we going? And you'll feel it, you'll see it, it'll all start to happen. Heck, they may be so excited they start the second week in August. I don't know, but it'll be somewhere around there. But when they move, when that deer starts to creep out of the bushes and step into that clearing in the field, we'll be sitting right there, set down our cup of coffee. Anyway, hey, thanks for your question. Where was CM Soul from?
He's from Indonesia.
Indonesia. Well, welcome, and I hope I wish you great success in your trading, CM Soul. Thank you for your question. Let's see. Again, I guess if you do what I show you how to do, you're going to begin making consistent profit. So and again, this can take you years. I'm happy to tell you how to do this on your own, but if you want to do it a lot faster, I can help you do it, and I do it very affordably. So, take a look at the button called Member Experience on our front page. Those are unedited. Just click on it and read and read and read. Again, you're like, oh, this is so great. How come everybody's not doing it? Well, they don't know about it. I mean, you stumbled upon our site, didn't you? So, and also, these slots will be probably taken up today or tomorrow, so the next opportunity might not be until September, so do take advantage of that if you can. Now, how do you contact me? That's at forexhardware.com. Or, just go anywhere on our page and hit contact. Reply to an email that I sent you. I mean, it's really easy to find us. And if you're out of the country, try to include a free Skype user ID, or just tell me you're downloading it. If you're in the United States, if you're in our country, I should have said, leave me your phone number and the best time to call. And by the way, I will talk to anyone. I will take 30 minutes to an hour. Let me tell you what I do while I'm talking to new people that I meet. I'm going for a long walk around the big circle around my block. It's a giant circle. And so not only will you be learning valuable Forex trading or education and information, I'll be getting in better health. So give me a reason to talk to someone. Anyway, so to our members, we'll see you guys in the live trading room, our member trading room at 9:30. That's in about 35 minutes or so. Victor, outstanding job. Thank you so much for your job today. Anything to add?
No, it's just always a pleasure to come on here and chat with yourself and do my analysis with trading. It's something I really love to do. So, and if someone gets some benefit out of it, it makes me incredibly humble, incredibly happy. So, yeah, thanks, mate.
Thank you. And that's the thing, guys. We hope you just got one valuable idea this morning that helps you with your trading. And that's going to do it. So cheers, everybody. And we'll see you for the next live show on Tuesday. But keep in mind at forexhardware.com, you're going to see a lot more stuff popping up. So keep your eye on that. You guys have a great one. Bye-bye.